Well, hello internets, here we are. Got ourselves a little bit of a vlog. This is regarding a day that passed a couple days ago. It was, or has been, a rough few days. But I'm hoping that it's over and done with for another long stretch, but it'll be what it is. And yeah, welcome to our vlog, so here we go. Well, I'm used to days being a little bit rough. I'm used to things being up and down. I'm used to having to deal with pain or discomfort or headaches or, nausea and all that stuff. I have lived with many of these things for many years. Working full-time jobs, having a life at home, having a family, being around family, friends, things like that. And I've always been able to survive them. However, over about a week or so in total, it was nasty. Building getting stronger and stronger. The headaches, the nausea, the discomfort, the exhaustion, the lack of sleep, the lack of wanting to eat, the not really being too social or friendly to anybody that I run into. I tried to get things done, tried to start the next leg of the project. However, it just plain and simple was not there. I went out one day and all I really could do is get 2 jugs of water, and that was, by the time I got them carried up here to my space, that was pretty much it. I pretty much crashed for a few days, and I've come out the other side, and this is my first outing in quite a few days where I have been able to complete, or at least start and successfully get through some of the things I've been struggling with. I have wondered about going back to the doctor, but I'm really not one for the doctor's pills and stuff. However, if they do help, then I guess they kind of do help. I'm just not really big on side effects, and then treating those side effects with something bigger and stronger, which then treat those side effects with something bigger and stronger. I watched my dad spend the last 20 or so years of his life progressively getting on stronger and stronger pills, to the point where he was on the kind of pills I'd have to sign for when I would pick up his meds for him, because he could no longer get out of the house to even function. I'd bring him his groceries, take him to his appointments. He didn't even have much of a quality of life toward the end. He didn't ride his bike anymore, didn't really have the outings like we used to, could never really seem to go for the barbecues or the road trips like we used to, and things like that. And I don't want to end up that way. I'm far too young to end up that way. I know I am preparing potentially for it. I am trying to get my 10-15 year plan in motion, maybe a little bit sooner than 10-15 years, but because I don't know how the future is going to go, and with things in my life seems to be ever changing, sometimes not for the better, and with government interference in certain places and areas, it's looking like I have missed my window to live the kind of life that I've always wanted to live for the last 25-30 years. That's kind of what happens when you let others influence your life. That's kind of what happens when you go an opposite direction. You waste time living a life that really you didn't want to live, and then spend the next how many years trying to get back to where you once were, but you never can go back to where you once were because, well, this is 25, 30 years later. It's kind of weird how life goes. You think, at the time, hey, I'm 22 years old. This is maybe my only chance to get in a relationship. Somebody like me, low prospects, things like that. You sell yourself short and get with somebody who's basically lying about their future, telling you what you want to hear, basically, so they've got a warm place to stay for the winter and hide from their past in your present, kind of a thing. And after that's over and done with, you think, well, what am I going to do, right? I've already got all this stuff going. Why not just jump into another relationship? And you repeat that cycle over and over again for a few years until one day you say to yourself, I'm going the opposite direction. And then you have the opportunity to change course and try to get back on track, but it hasn't been easy. You can never go back to where you once were. You only can continue on from where you are. You may be able to make things a little more simpler in your life, but things will never be the way they once were. I was sitting here trying to decide why I was feeling the way I'm feeling. Have I overdone it again with the big Easter Sunday or Easter weekend road trip? Have I overdone it with the project planning, project stress? Have I overdone it with other stress that's in my family life? Have I overdone it just trying to live my normal day-to-day life as much as it's become the new normal? And then somebody said apparently it was this big solar eclipse kind of a thing. I know we weren't in the path of the complete darkness, but apparently it did get slightly dimmer than normal out, which, if I remember right, actually happened in 2017 when the same thing happened then. And I know I am sensitive to like barometric pressure, electromagnetism type of thingies, like electrical storms, lightning storms, when my pain is high. Does the eclipse, would that kind of work along the same idea with, mood swings, kind of depression, kind of darkness, kind of wanting to be isolated, not really wanting to speak to people, sleep patterns all out of whack, even though, you're sleeping but not sleeping, nausea, headaches, and to the point where I swear I've ate enough headache pills to feed an army in the last week or so. Now that that's gone, like I said, today was my first outing a few days later. I wasn't able to complete what I wanted to complete, but I completed a lot more than I did in the previous few days. I try to keep going and keep rolling and sort of live one day at a time, but at the same time trying to have a little bit of a plan for the future. I know what I would like to happen. I know what I'm trying to get to happen. It is the expensive route to make it happen. However, this may be my last chance to make it happen before the time passes to even make it remotely happen. I may have set my goals a little high and I may be reaching for the stars, but at the same time, if you reach for the stars and fail, then at least you have a good foundation in place to at least keep on going the way you've been going for the last few years. If you set your goals low and fail, then you're back to sleeping in a tent or starting from scratch. And not like starting from scratch is a bad thing, because we've all done it. Some of us have done it several times. Some of us have had the rugs pulled out of us a few times and had to rebuild from scratch or rebuild from very minimal over again. But just a few things that I want to share, a couple things that I got going on in my mind. It is what it is, and around we go. And as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's Vlogs. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.